Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the SCSRA Xfinity Series. Tonight, these Xfinity cars will be taking on Richmond Raceway for 150 laps of racing action. I'm going to be your announcer for tonight, Atlee Atman-Leese, and I'm excited to call every second of tonight's Capital City 110. Right now, we are practicing here at Richmond. And Brian Nudie, he is on the top of the board. 22.22 is the lap time for that 40 machine. Behind him is Eddie Morris. He's 400ths off of him. And then rounding out your top three currently, that is Colin Willems. He ran a 22.27, putting him 500ths off of Brian Nudie. Here's a recap of what happened last week. Last week we had a doubleheader at Watkins Glen 2 points races. In the first race, we saw Devin Buccineau take the victory, although he did not lead the most laps. He led the lap that counted. In total, Devin led 9 laps, started second en route to his win. Brian Nudie, he ended up finishing second after starting on the pole. Nudie led a race most 21 laps. Third was Jeffrey Belk. Finishing fourth was Colin Willems. And rounding out your top 5, that was Joe Wright. Then in race number 2, we saw the roles reversed. This time, Brian Nudie won. Devin Buccineau finished second. Brian Nudie led a race most 13 laps after starting in 14th position. Devin Buccineau would finish second. He would not lead any laps, but he was right with Nudie until the end. He started in 15th. Finishing third was Will Witt. He led a second most of 9 laps. Fourth was Eddie Morris. He led 8 laps. And rounding out your top 5, that was Colin Willems. Other lap leaders include Dustin Dean, who led 1 lap. And finishing 13th, that was David Hartney. David led 4 laps. So after last week's 2 races, here is a look at your current point standings. Right now, Colin Willems leads, and he is currently tied with Devin Buccineau for the point standings lead. So tonight's race could greatly affect who will be the point standings leader. So again, tie for first, Colin Willems and Devin Buccineau. Then in third, that is Dustin Dean. Fourth is Brian Merle Jr. Fifth is Austin Blaylock. Sixth is Brian Nudie. Seventh is Jeffrey Belk. Eighth is Joe Wright. Ninth is Eddie Morris. And right now, rounding out your top 10, that is Josh Hall. Now, the drivers that are currently locked into our 12-card playoff field, because they have gotten wins, that is Jeffrey Belk, Brian Nudie, Austin Blaylock, Devin Buccineau, and Colin Willems. Those 5 drivers are locked in to the playoffs. They don't have to worry for the rest of this regular season if they have a bad race or two, because they know that they are locked in. Also, teams very important here in the SCSRA. Let's take a look at our current team standings. Right now, CCM leads the way. They have a 97-point lead over second place Neon Racing. Currently, CCM has gotten 3 wins, 2 of them coming from Brian Nudie, 1 of them coming from Austin Blaylock. As mentioned, second in the team standings, that's Neon Racing. They've gotten 1 win this season. That came from Devin Buccineau last week at Watkins Glen. Third is Wasted Wages Racing. They've got 1 win this season, and that came from Colin Willems. Fourth is Intensity DBC Racing, and they've got 1 win this season. That came from Jeffrey Belk. And then rounding out your top 5 in the team standings is Cheeseburger Motorsports. They do not have a win this season. Their highest driver in the standings is Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. He currently sits 16th in the standings. And lastly, last but not least in the team standings, that is the Independents. And the independent driver has only made 1 start this season, and that was by Sylvain Segoin, and he is currently last in the standings. So there you go. That is a recap of everything coming into this race. It's now time for qualifying. Qualifying underway here in Richmond. Drivers will get 2 laps to try to set their best possible lap time, and that will determine where they will start on the grid. Right now we're watching Brett Merle in the 11 machine, and Jeffrey Belk, he crosses the start-finish line. Belk runs a 22.67. He is on the top of the board now. And we see Brett Merle to the top of the board, 22.51, putting him a tenth ahead of second place Jeffrey Belk. Brett Merle, he's looking for his first win of the season here tonight. And Jeffrey Belk is able to improve on his second lap. He goes to the top of the board, but so does Brett Merle. Brett Merle on the top of the board, 22.42. That is 400ths faster than Jeffrey Belk's 22.46. So Brett Merle, he is one step in the right direction towards getting his first win of the season here tonight. It's been a rough go at it so far for Brett Merle. He has only been able to grab 1 top 10 in 5 races. He does not have a single top 5, and he does not have a single win. So Brett Merle looking to change that here tonight. There's Joe Wright in the 80 team in the 82 Blue Team Alpha Toyota Camry on his first lap right now. It's been a good start to the season for Joe Wright, finishing in the top 10 and 4 out of the 6 races and top 5 and 2 out of the 6 races. We've got Derek Chaput on track in the 37 machine. Chaput looking to improve on what's been a rough start to the season. We see Joe Wright, he's able to get to third, 22.51, putting him 900ths off of first place. Brett Merle and Dustin Dean is into the wall here in qualifying. That was a hard hit right there. Looks like he just lost it through the corner. So it looks like Dustin Dean, he is going to try it again here. Even though Brett Merle has completed both of his required laps, looks like he's staying out just to get a little bit of extra practice time in. Practice in racing is definitely a vital thing, so it's good that Brett Merle is taking advantage of that. So we got Dustin Dean. We're watching him right now. Dustin Dean has had a phenomenal season. He's finished in the top 10 in every single race. He's won a pole. He's finished in the top 5 in 50% of the races, but he has not gotten a win yet. He is the highest driver in the standings without a win, and I'm sure he definitely wants to change that tonight. And look at that, a good step in the right direction towards a win tonight for Dustin Dean. He goes to the top of the board with a 22.35, putting him 600ths ahead of second place Brett Merle. There's Dustin Dean's teammate Austin Blaylock on track. He won the season opener at Daytona, but he's looking to try to prove tonight that he can win at tracks other than a super speedway. So far, Blaylock will run a 22.69. I want to give a huge shout out to our series sponsor, Dev Sports Cards. Dev Sports Cards was established in 2013 by SCSRA driver and Neon Racing team owner Devin Butchino. Dev Sports Cards specializes in all your sports cards and gaming cards needs. From football, baseball, and basketball cards to Pokemon, Dev Sports Cards sells it all. On their eBay store, you can find a wide variety of items, from high-end sports cards to their weekly 99-cent starting bid 7-day auctions. Don't have time to sell your own cards? Reach out to Devin and ask about his consignment services. Simply package them up, ship them out, and Devin will get them listed, sold, and then you get paid. Dev Sports Cards can be found on eBay with 4,000 plus positive feedback, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Dev Sports Cards is a proud sponsor of the SCSRA series and Intensity Broadcasting. So I'm sure we might have at least a few sports cards fans, or fans of sports cards watching tonight. So definitely consider checking Dev out. He's got some great inventory on that eBay store. I've checked it out, everything from NASCAR cards. I know that wasn't mentioned, but yeah, he's got a lot of awesome NASCAR cards. Football, just, it's a sports cards paradise, so definitely consider checking him out. Intensity Broadcasting is proud to be partnered with the Butt Kicker, and if you were an iRacer, the Butt Kicker is definitely an essential item if you want to have the most accurate experience possible while you're on the sim. Butt Kicker is the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing and gaming hardware that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one is right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Again, thebuttkicker.com is the website belonging to the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. So, thank you so much to the Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. And if you are an iRacer, definitely consider picking up one because it really enhances your experience. I always make sure to use mine when I am on the sim, and it just makes for a absolutely incredible experience. You can feel every little thing from rumble strips to tagging the wall to, when you shift gears. You can feel everything that you would feel in a real-life race car, but on the sim. It's super accurate. I race in real life, and it's the closest I've ever felt on the sim to running in real life. So definitely recommend it to any iRacer watching tonight. Pick up a Butt Kicker. We've had a big shift in our top three here in qualifying. Eddie Morris to the top of the board, 22.18. Second is Brian Nudi with a 22.22. And rounding out your top three, that is Colin Williams with a 22.30. Putting him a 10th off of Eddie Morris. Here are my keys to the race tonight. First of all, tires. Definitely, you gotta, throughout the race, save that right front and save that right rear because this track is very abrasive. It can wear the tires very quickly. So, throughout this race, drivers just need to be really, really careful with how much they're saving their tires so that they can last as long as possible. So the only thing the only thing you're going to have to worry about to be is fuel. So just really take care of those tires. The car is loose in and out, and then it gets tight in the center. So drivers just need to be super careful throughout this race and just really have good control over their car because it's super easy to have the car come out from under you when you go around. And lastly, short track shenanigans. Drivers definitely have to be aware of those. It's very rare that you'll see a short track race where there's no cautions and it's just a very clean race. So I think we may see a caution or two that isn't the stage break come out in tonight's event. So these drivers just need to be super heads up when that happens, and you got to always be looking out for a wreck to happen. Of course, you don't want to be overly cautious where you're not quick enough, but you've just always got to be looking out and just be cautious throughout this entire race. I mean, those are my keys to the race. Save your tires, be careful with the car, and just be extremely cautious throughout this race. And just drive heads up. That's the word that I was looking for there. Just drive heads up and you should be fine here. So there we go. Eddie Morris is going to grab the pole here at Richmond. And this is Eddie Morris's first pole of the season. So congrats to that awesome milestone for Eddie Morris. Let's see if he finishes where he starts, though. All right, here's a look at your starting lineup. Starting on the pole with a 22.177. That is the number 8 of Eddie Morris, driver for CCM. Outside of him, it's its CCM teammate, Brian Nudi, in that 40 car. Third is the Canadian Colin Willems and the number 17 Wasted Wages Racing Machine. In fourth, that is Neon Racing's Devin Buchno in the 68. And rounding at your top 5 in the number 21, that is Dustin Dean. In sixth, it's the 11 of Brett Merle. He drives for Neon Racing. Seventh is Intensity DBC Sim Racing's Jeffrey Belk in the 54. Eighth is the 82 of Joe Wright, driver for CCM. Ninth is Wasted Wages Racing's Derek Chaput, the Canadian, in that 37 car. And rounding out your top 10 in the number 99, drives for CCM, that is Austin Blaylock. 11th is Dave Wright in that 84. And rounding out your top 12, it's Intensity Broadcasting's own Josh Hall in the Intensity DBC Racing, number 81. So here we go. The field is set. We've got 12 drivers. Only one will be declared the winner. The question is, who will that be? Will it be a favorite like Brian Nudie or Colin Willems, or will we see a first-time winner like Dustin Dean or Joe Wright or Eddie Morris? We will find all of that out in 150 laps. And we are off here at Richmond. Looks like Josh Hall missed the grid, so he is either not going to be participating in this race or he is starting from the pits. So right now we have 11 cars on track. Drivers getting their tires warmed up. Here's a look at the race info for tonight's event. 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 57% humidity, partly cloudy skies, 2 miles per hour wind speed. We got a very cool track just because it is nighttime. 79 degrees Fahrenheit is our track temperature, so it's not going to be as slick as it would be in the daytime. And we are at the 0.72 mile Richmond Raceway in the great city of Richmond, Virginia. Real excited to announce this race. This is my home track in real life. Love going out to Richmond. Beautiful facility. Always great racing. And Richmond is a great city as well. If you're in the Virginia area, definitely consider checking out the Richmond area. A lot of awesome stuff there. And we actually had an Intensity Broadcasting meetup this last year at Richmond. Me, Joe Wright, and Eddie Morris all watched the Cup race at Richmond. So two of those drivers running in the race tonight. Let's see how both of them do. And green flag is out here at Richmond Raceway, the capital city. 110 is underway, and Eddie Morris like a rocket heading into 1 and 2. Side by side for second, it's two former teammates battling it out. Brian Nudie, Colin Willems. We see Nudie's got the nose heading on to the backstretch, and he is almost clear. Yep, he is able to get clear. Brian Nudie now to second, and he looks low under Eddie Morris for first side by side, and it looks like Brian Nudie will actually lead that first lap, and he is clear over Eddie Morris heading into 1 and 2. We see Eddie Morris goes way up the track. Colin Willems, Brian Nudie both able to get by Eddie. But we see Eddie, he's on the back bumper now of Colin Willems, trying to get that second place position from him. He's also getting a lot of pressure from Devin Buchno. Devin Wright on the coattails of that 8 machine. And Brian Nudie ran the fastest lap time of the race, 22.21. Right now, Brian Nudie definitely the fastest car on the track. So right now, Eddie Morris trying to track down Colin Willems here for that second place position. Eddie looking to see what Colin's doing, where he's braking, where he's lifting, where he's getting back into the gas, and he's going to try to use that to his advantage, just kind of looking where Colin Willems is struggling. And, of course, you're also waiting for the driver in front of you to make a mistake, which, of course, and look at that, Eddie Morris, he's taking it to the outside here at Richmond. Of course, the bottom here is the preferred groove. I don't know. Eddie might be able to make it work up there. Sometimes you can try to run the outside. It could work. Yeah, he's got a great run up there. Can't quite get the nose ahead of Colin Willems, and now looks like the bottom's exposed, and Devin Butchno, he is taking advantage of that side by side between those two, heading off of 2. Their nose to tail on the backstretch. Eddie trying to shut that door. But Colin Willems, he is not letting Eddie Morris get away too much. Looks like Eddie's clear. He was able to shut the door on Devin Butchno there, but I don't think we've seen the end of that 68 machine. Eddie Morris right now tracking down Colin Willems for that second place position. Eddie went from on the pole to third place in a very short amount of time, so he's trying to get those positions that he lost back here at Richmond. Right now, Colin Willems, he's just trying to be absolutely perfect behind the wheel. Just trying to hit his marks and be super smooth. So Eddie Morris, the only way he's going to get by him is just with pure speed. It's not going to be from Colin making a mistake. Right now, from second all the way to 8th, the field is extremely tight. While Brian Nudie in first place, he's getting away from the rest of the field right now, as we just now hit lap number 10. And though, all the drivers are extremely close together. We're just waiting for the first move to get made. The question is, who will make that move? Right now, it's looking to be Eddie Morris, who is continuing to try to set something up on Colin Willems for that second place spot. He's just got to find the right way to make a move. And he's also kind of thinking back to all the previous times he's raced against Colin at these kinds of tracks, Iowa or like Richmond. And he's got to just kind of use that to his advantage as well. Like, what are Colin's tendencies? There's so many things that you can be thinking about while you're trying to make a pass that can kind of help you out. But again, though, the main thing is just waiting for the driver in front of you to make a mistake, which is extremely easy to do here in Richmond, especially with how loose the car is typically on entry and exit. We also have got a battle going on for 4th. Dustin Dean right on the back bumper of Devin Butchno here on the backstretch. He's in striking distance as we head into turns 3 and 4. That 21 machine has got some speed trying to break into the top 4. And Devin Butchno, he's also tracking down Eddie Morris for 3rd. So Devin Butchno might begin to start playing offense and defense here. Battle on 2 fronts for that 68 machine. He definitely wants to try to get by Eddie Morris before Dustin makes that pass on him. Dustin Dean looking low through 1 and 2. He's side by side with Butchno onto the backstretch. But he falls back in line behind him, heading into 3 and 4. And we see Dustin Dean giving Butchno the bumper, heading off of 4 there. But it does not get the car upset enough to allow Dustin Dean to make the pass. We know Dustin, he is not afraid to make a move like that. And I know when he continues to try to make this pass, he is not afraid to do it again. We see Josh Hall, he's currently on pit road. Josh Hall missed the start of this race. And so, looks like he's on pit road getting ready to head out onto the track. When he does, he'll be about 17, 18 laps down. Definitely not in contention for this race, but it'll be good practice to just turn some laps for next week's race and beyond. There we go. through 1 and 2. Dustin Dean trying to make the pass, and he's got a great run off the corner. Really good corner exit speed for that 21, and he is able to get clear of Butchno, but Butchno crossover heading into 3 and 4. He is to the rear quarter panel, but Dustin Dean says not today. He shuts the door off of turn number 4 and will remain in 4th place for the time being. Elsewhere on track, we've got a tight battle between Brett Merle, Jeffrey Belk, and Joe Wright. Let's see here. Eddie Morris continuing to try to track down for 2nd place right now. Eddie Morris continuing to track down Colin Willems, for 2nd place. Dustin Dean, he's got a huge run on his teammate. Watch out for that 21. He looks to the high side of Eddie Morris heading into 3 and 4 here. These two aren't going to race each other too hard, considering their teammates with each other, both of them drivers for CCM. And we see Dustin Dean looking low to make the pass here in 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, and he's able to get clear. Dustin Dean to the podium now. He sets his sights on your 2nd place driver, Colin Willems. I mean, that 21 has incredible speed right now. We'll say, though, last time by, he was about a 10th faster, so we'll see how quickly he is going to be able to reel in Colin Willems. Jeffrey Belk trying to get by Brett Merle for that 11th place position. Joe Wright right on the back bumper of Jeffrey Belk. From 6th to 8th, we are nose to tail right now. All just waiting on one driver to make a move. Oh, we see Jeffrey Belk getting extremely close to Merle's back bumper. Joe getting extremely close to Belk's. Right now, Jeffrey Belk, he's in the hardest situation just because he's having to play offense and defense. No, he's definitely hoping to get by Brett Merle here before Joe Wright can try to make a pass. And look at this. As they come up on Devin Butchno, that's going to mean that they're going to have a 4th car to deal with right now. 4-horse race. And Belk, he looks low under Brett Merle through turns 3 and 4. Off of 4, Merle with the nose. And he is almost going to be clear heading into 1 and 2. Wow, big run through the center of the corner for Jeffrey Belk. That's going to definitely help him try to make that pass. And he's got Joe Wright behind him as well. Joe Wright, I think he's going to try to stay right on Belk's bumper. So once Brett Merle, he's stuck on that outside, Joe can just follow right behind Jeffrey as he makes that pass. We see Brett Merle, he is holding strong on that outside, not letting Jeffrey Belk get that position too easily. Joe Wright just trying to find any sort of way to get by both of these drivers. The track is wide enough to take it 3 wide, but do you really want to do that? Yeah, Joe Wright, he's in a really tricky situation. He's just trying to decide who he wants to run behind or if he wants to try to stick his nose in and make it 3 wide. Oh, we see Belk pushes up a little bit there off of 4, making a little bit of contact, and that costs him a ton of momentum. Now he's side by side with Joe Wright for that 7th place position. Dustin Dean, he has caught Colin Willems for that 2nd place position. There they go, going around lap traffic right now. Dave Wright, and oh, both drivers almost make contact with Dave. Colin Willems really pinching him, heading into 1 and 2, trying to really maximize how much he is arcing his corner. Dave Wright sticking right with these two. I'm sure they're not happy that Dave Wright is trying to battle with them. But hey, he's trying to get his lap back. So Dustin Dean, last time by, these two, Colin Willems, Dustin Dean, they ran identical lap times. Dustin Dean, he needs to be about a 10th faster or more than Colin Willems if he wants to try to make this pass. There we go. He's looking low. There's a gap heading off of turn number 4. I mean, Dustin Dean, he's right there. He's within striking distance. When will he make the move? We see Colin Willems is running about mid-corner, and that's exposing the bottom for Dustin Dean. What is Dustin Dean going to be able to do here as he tries to make it by Colin Willems? And Eddie Morris, he's near them as well if either of these two make a mistake. Eddie can capitalize on that, and there we go. Dustin Dean to the rear quarter panel, heading off of turn number 4. And big run into 3 and 4. Side by side. Willems with the nose here on the front stretch. We see Dustin getting a little bit loose. Dustin trying to hang on to it. And he's got the nose heading off of turn number 2. They're nose to tail on the backstretch. Neither driver giving the other an inch. It looks like Dustin Dean is not going to have the nose as they cross the start-finish line. That'll be Colin Willems. And Colin Willems is back clear over Dustin Dean for the time being, but a big run through 1 and 2 for that 21 machine shows that it's not over yet. Look at that, side by side through 3 and 4. Phenomenal run for Dustin Dean. That 21 car has great speed through the center of the corner, but we see Colin Willems, he gains a little bit on exit. So if Dustin Dean can get that corner exit speed figured out, then he is going to be golden in making this pass on Colin Willems. Eddie Morris is loving to see these two battle because while they're battling, that's kind of slowing both of them down and allowing Eddie Morris to reel them in bit by bit. So they went by lap traffic there. Austin Blaylock. Blaylock now 1 lap down. So Dustin Dean really struggling to make this pass here on Colin Willems in Richmond. Out of all the short tracks, that is definitely one of, if not the most difficult to pass at. So you've really got to think about what you're doing. You've really got to set it up. And look at this. Eddie Morris joining the party here in this battle for second, making this a 3-horse race. And now Dustin Dean, he's under a whole lot more pressure than he did have, because now he's got Eddie Morris behind him, Colin Willems in front of him, 2 cars to deal with. He's hoping that if he gets by Colin Willems, he'll only have 1 car to deal with now. But he's got to make that pass first. Big run off of 2 there for Dustin Dean. He's right up to the back bumper, and he's going to try to send it here into 3 and 4. He is to the rear quarter panel. He is to the door there, nose to tail, heading off of turn number 4. But again, Colin Willems is like a rocket on the exit of the corner. Dustin Dean needs to find some way to really have better speed on the exit of the corner. And again, all while this is happening, Eddie Morris lurking right behind these two, ready to pounce if something goes wrong. Do want to quickly talk about the track that we are racing at tonight. Of course, we are at Richmond Raceway. Is Richmond Raceway America's longest short track or its shortest super speedway? Either way you look at it, Richmond embodies the characteristics of both and is a rocket-fast challenge to every driver who competes on the 3/4-mile oval. Racers from NASCAR, IndyCar, and USAC have found that Richmond requires both power and handling. To win here, you've got to have it all. Auto racing in Richmond launched in 1946 at the Atlantic Rural Expeditions half-mile dirt track as part of the AAA Championship Car season, which was the first car racing following World War II. 4 track configurations later, today's Richmond Raceway features 55,000 grandstands and premium seats, a new $30 million infield, which opened in fall of 2018, and it's the only NASCAR venue, or not anymore, but it was the only NASCAR venue to have all its racing action held under the lights. Now, it's just like many other NASCAR venues where both races are held in the daytime. And in real life, I've definitely spent a lot of great times at Richmond Raceway. It's a really awesome facility, and it's always great racing. Fun fact about me, I walked out with Chase Briscoe at Richmond Raceway during driver introductions during his Xfinity career, so that was really awesome. And little did I know that Chase Briscoe would become one of the best young talents in NASCAR in the face of Stewart-Haas Racing, or he will be after Kevin Harvick retires. And of course, got to see many other cool races and hang out with a lot of cool people. Like I mentioned earlier, Tennessee Broadcasting had a kind of meetup at Richmond where Joe Wright, Eddie Morris, and I all watched the race and all hung out before they made their adventure up north to New York for the Watkins Glen race. It was a great time spending time with both of them. First time really hanging out with Eddie. And it's really cool because you can really make some cool connections with people on the sim. I mean, iRacing and the SCSRA is such a great community, and I'm sure it would be awesome to hang out with majority of these guys in real life. I mean, everybody in this league, they're all such great people. And definitely consider checking them out if you're looking for a really good quality iRacing league. Well, next time by, the lap 50 stage break will be coming out. And so that means that a race control caution or a competition caution will come out, and the top 10 will all get stage points. So it should come out any second now. And Brian Newty, he's got a 6-second lead over second place. Oh my. Yep, he's got a 6-second lead. Now 4 seconds. Something's up with Brian Newty. He slowed way up. But Brian Newty, 3-second lead heading into the stage break. And there we go. The caution flag is out. Brian Newty wins the stage. Colin Willems second. Dustin Dean third. Eddie Morris fourth. Joe Wright fifth. Devin Butchno sixth. Brett Merle seventh. Jeffrey Belk 8th, Derek Chaput 9th, and rounding out your top 10, that is Dave Wright. So Brian Newty getting 10 points added to his point total, which will definitely help him as he chases his first ever SCSRA Xfinity Series championship. So pit road is about to become a busy, busy place here at Richmond. Drivers getting fresh tires and fuel. There we go. The whole field making that descent onto pit road. Only 3 drivers stay out, and that's because they're all trying to get their lap back. Eddie Morris is going to have the advantage here because he has that first pit stall, so he is the closest to the pit road finish line. Yep, there we go. Everybody getting 4 tires and fuel. Brian Newty, the first driver off, and he wins the race off of pit road. Then it's Colin Willems, Dustin Dean, Joe Wright, Eddie Morris, Devin Butchino, Brett Merle, Jeffrey Belk. And then we see Derek Chaput, Austin Blaylock, Josh Hall now in the pits after they got their laps back. So there is Brian Newty. And he's got the lead here at Richmond. Looking to try to keep it here for this next green flag run. Now, after this, there will be no more cautions that are controlled by race control. The only cautions that will come out from here on out are for on-track incidents. So if we don't have any on-track incidents, then this race very well could go green for the next 100 laps. So that means that we are going to have another green flag pit stop. That green flag pit stop will probably be around lap 100. I do have a big announcement to make. And you might notice that one of our drivers, Brian Merle Jr., is not here. And that is because he is currently at the hospital, but don't get worried, it's for a good reason. He had a baby. So congratulations to Brian Merle Jr. and his wife for a baby boy, Brody Lee Merle. He was born last night at 11:09 p.m. And he should be racing in this league very, very soon. So again, congrats to Brian and his wife for the new bundle of joy. And hopefully we will see Brian back racing soon. I know we just had Will Witt back after he and his wife had a baby. And remember, we have onesies on IntensityBroadcasting.com. So if you have an iRacer and you know that they're having a baby, definitely consider picking up that onesie for their new bundle of joy. All right, pace car is in. And green flag is back out here at Richmond. There is Brian Newty taking off. He's got Colin Willems right behind him as they head into turns 1 and 2. Dustin Dean in third. So now Colin Willems, he's trying to take the lead from Brian Newty. It's been all Brian Newty so far, so Colin Willems looking to try to change that. Brian Newty's got a big run, a fast Chevrolet Camaro. Oh, we saw him slip up a little bit off of turn number 4. That car got a little bit loose, and so we saw that gap decrease between him and Colin Willems a little bit. Colin Willems, and he's right on his back bumper, filling up that rearview mirror. Brian Newty's definitely probably getting a little bit nervous right now. But you just got to keep driving, keep doing your thing. You see Dustin Dean, he's right on the back bumper of Colin Willems. These two kind of resuming what was going on before the stage break. And Dustin Dean, he looks low under Colin Willems heading into 3 and 4. He's to the rear quarter panel. He's to the door. He's got the nose heading off of turn number 4. They are nose to tail as we go across the start-finish line. Wow, what a photo finish there that lap. And he's got a big run through 1 and 2. Dustin Dean is clear, and Dustin Dean is to position number 2 here at Richmond. Now Eddie Morris, he looks low under Colin Willems for third. Colin Willems, he might get knocked out of the podium here after previously being in the top 3 for the entirety of this race. Eddie Morris right now, he's trying to set up the pass on that 17 machine. Last time by, Eddie was about a 10th faster than Colin. So we know that 8 car, he's got speed. Colin Willems, he's staying right with Dustin Dean. Dustin Dean isn't able to get too far away from that 17 machine. Again, like we've been saying for a lot of tonight's event, Colin Willems, we saw the gap really decrease between Colin and Dustin there. So now the battle's just between Eddie and Colin right now. So what is Eddie going to do here? It's been a rough race for Eddie Morris, and you're probably wondering, he's in the top 5. How has he had a rough race? Well, he started on the pole, but on the first lap, he lost the lead, and he hasn't been up to the lead since. So if he can get by Colin Willems and get onto the podium, that'll be a good step in the right direction for that 8 machine. And he's got a good run there off of turn number 2. I mean, he's right within striking distance between him and that 17 machine. Dustin Dean, he is slowly but surely reeling in his teammate Brian Nudie for that first place position. Both drivers, they drive for CCM, so they're going to run each other pretty clean, considering they are teammates. You don't want to wreck your teammate. And look at this. If Eddie Morris, if he can get by Colin Willems here for third, that'll mean that CCM will be 1, 2, 3. CCM so far this season definitely has been the most dominant team. They have finished in the top 10 in 17 of their 18 starts among their drivers. The only driver that has missed out on the top 10 in one of their races was Joe Wright. Or their races counted as 18. The only drivers that have not finished in the top 10 this season, that's Austin Blaylock and Joe Wright. And Eddie Morris. Dustin Dean, Brian Nudie, both of them have finished in the top 10 in every single race they have participated in. That is incredible for both drivers, and it really proves why CCM is currently the leader in the team standings. And I don't know how long Neon Racing is going to stay in second in the team standings, considering they only have 2 drivers running tonight. It's just Brett Myrtle and Colin Willems. So right now, field pretty spread out here at Richmond. Let's talk about some things here. First of all, our biggest mover of the race. Our biggest mover of the race is actually your second place driver, Dustin Dean. Dustin Dean started the race in 5th place. He currently runs in 2nd, and that 21 machine, it is a rocket. We'll see if he can reel in Brian Nudie and make it 6 positions gained, or 4 positions gained since the green flag drop. The biggest tough break tonight is definitely Eddie Morris, who currently runs in 4th. Eddie started on the pole, but he did not even lead the first lap as Brian Nudie was able to get by him, and he's just lost position after position, hoping to try to get back onto the podium and get closer and closer to that lead. We do have 3 drivers on the lead lap that are exactly where they started. Colin Willems, he started in 3rd. Jeffrey Belk started in 7th. And Joe Wright, he started in 8th. Derek Chappie on pit road right now. That 37 is coming in. Let's see what exactly is going to be done to that car. And it looks like Chappie just manually disconnects. Wow. So, sorry to all the Derek Chappie fans. His day is done. And as Brian Nudie crosses the start-finish line, that will make it 75 laps completed here at Richmond. At this time, we are going to turn up the volume, pump up the intensity. Here you'll get to see the sights and hear the sounds of the racetrack. Here we go. right, that will do it for tonight's event. Or no, that will not do it for tonight's event. That'll do it for Pump Up the Intensity. Sorry. That'll do it for Pump Up the Intensity. Hopefully you enjoyed us turning up the volume and getting to see the sights and hear the sounds of the racetrack. Always nice to hear the beautiful car sounds of these Xfinity cars. These Xfinity cars do sound amazing. And definitely glad to see that the SCSRA includes them in one of their series. They also have a truck series on Tuesday nights. Those are awesome as well. We've got a battle brewing for that 6th place position. Devin Butchno, Jeffrey Belk. Belk really closing that gap. Let's see what that 54 can do here. Both drivers first searching for their 2nd win of the season. Devin Butchno, he won last week, while Jeffrey Belk won earlier this season. So let's see. Jeffrey Belk just kind of trying to set up the pass, looking to see what Devin's doing. Kind of thinking back to Devin's previous tendencies. And he's just trying to use all that to help him out make this pass here. And look at this. Green flag pit stops might be starting a little bit earlier than I thought. Dustin Dean is into the pits here at Richmond. Looks like, so that'll mean 4 tires and fuel onto that 21 machine. Brett Merle, he is coming up on Eddie Morris for 3rd place right now as I say that. Brett Merle, he comes into the pits. We see Joe Wright is into the pits. We see the battle is still on for that 4th place position. Devin Butchno, Jeffrey Belk. All trying to duke it out right now. The question is, when will Brian... Oh, as I say that, Jeffrey Belk, he looks low under Devin Butchno here on the front stretch, and he is clear heading into 1 and 2. Great pass by that 54 machine. But we see Devin Butchno, he stays right with Jeffrey Belk here on the backstretch. Oh, yellow flag is out! Crazy turn of events here at Richmond. And we are going to take a look at the wreckage replay to see exactly what brought out this yellow. Wow. All right, here's a look at what happened. So we're watching Brian Newty. He's coming up on Dave Wright. Dave Wright, he's got older tires, while while Dustin Dean, he's got fresh tires. And we see, looks like Dustin Dean is going to try to send it here into 1 and 2. And the car just looks like it just comes out from under him, and he gets loose. Look at that. Somehow, some way, Dave Wright misses getting hit by Dustin Dean there. Let's watch the onboard cam of Dave Wright to just see how much of a close call that was. Holy moly. What a avoidance right there by Dave Wright. Fortunate, though, for Dustin Dean, who's got damage as soon as he exited off of pit road. So yeah, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it's super easy to get loose here at Richmond, because the car is very loose into the corner. It's loose out of the corner. So you really have to have a lot of control over the car, and it looks like just Dustin Dean lost it there heading into one. So right now, looks like the entire field has came in now. The entire field has fresh tires and fuel. So at this point in the race, let me know who is your pick to win. Still, we have 8 drivers on the lead lap. Say all of them could make it. You can make a case on why they could win. 8 drivers with a chance to win. 5 drivers. Going to be super competitive. And this is a short track. Anything can happen. So 8th place could go to 1st. 1st place would fall to 8th. We could see 5th place have a good run. I mean, anything can happen. So lights on the pace car are out. We're getting ready to go back green here. Brian Newdy restarting on the bottom. Colin Williams restarting on the top. Behind them, that's Eddie Morris and Jeffrey Belkin. Rounding out your top 5, that is Devin Bucciano. And pace car is in. Green flag is back out here at Richmond. Brian Newdy takes off. We are side by side for second. Eddie Morris, Colin Williams. They are nose to tail heading into 1 and 2. Colin Williams, though, he's staying right with Brian Newdy. Eddie Morris trying to look low under Colin Williams as they head into 1 and 3 and 4. And looks like they all are 1, 2, 3 single file as we cross the start-finish line. But you could throw a blanket over the top 3. Colin Williams trying to make something happen. The door's open for Eddie Morris on the bottom there. He's just got to get a good enough run to get under Colin. See if Eddie can make that happen there. And at the same time, Colin, he's trying to stick with Brian Newdy and not let him extend that gap and do what he's been doing for a lot of tonight's event. Wow, so Colin Williams, he just ran his personal best lap time of the race, 22.37. But still, even Brian Newdy, he didn't run his personal best lap time of the race, but he still ran a faster lap time than Colin. So that's got to make you upset there. And again, Colin Williams, he ran his best lap time of the race. Brian Newdy's still faster, even though he didn't run his best lap time. So it's got to be frustrating for Colin, even when he runs his very, very best, Brian Newdy is still faster. Elsewhere in the field, Jeffrey Belk resuming his battle between him and Devin Bucciano. This is for 4th place. Big run on the backstretch for that 54. And it looks like Belk has a ton of corner exit speed. And he's able to get right up to the back bumper of the 68. I mean, he is right within striking distance where he was. He lost a little bit of ground, though. It looked like he kind of maybe locked it up a little bit into 1 to avoid getting into the back of that 68 machine. Which, I mean, I respect that. Still too early to really push it too much here at Richmond. There's still 50 laps left. The closer and closer we get to the end, though, the more we're that kind of stuff, breaking out that chrome horn, that'll be a little bit more acceptable. And look at that. We just completed lap number 100 here at Richmond. 50 laps to go. Let's do a quick flyby of the field to see where your favorite driver is at. Brian Newty, he runs in first. Colin Willems is second. Eddie Morris, he currently runs in third. Fourth place is Newcastle's Jeffrey Belk. And rounding, or actually no, looks like, so Devin Butchino, he's fourth. Rounding out your top five, that's Jeffrey Belk. Sixth is Brett Merle. Seventh is Dave Wright. Right on his back bumper in eighth, that's Dustin Dean. Ninth is Austin Blaylock. And rounding out your top 10, that is Joe Wright. And then Derek Chaput, Josh Hall, both manually disconnected. They will finish 12th and 13th. We continue to watch this battle for fourth between Jeffrey Belk and Devin Butchino. Also, here are my drivers to watch here in this portion of the race. And I'd say there's really only two that are my two drivers to watch. That's Brian Newty. He's currently running in first. And it has been an incredible race for Brian Newty ever since he took the lead on lap 1. It has been absolutely dominant. Nobody else has really led laps. So Brian Newty looking to try to win 2 races in a row. But if there's one driver that can stop him, that is certainly your second place driver, Colin Willems. Colin Willems has been fast all night. He's typically been the bridesmaid for most of this race, running behind Brian Newty. But he's trying to change that. He is trying to get one more position and get by Brian Newty. Colin, he knows how to get it done at these types of tracks. He actually, his only win this season came at Iowa, which is based off of Richmond. So Colin Willems, he can win at these kinds of tracks. Let's see if he can get it done here tonight. And if somebody not named Brian Newty or Colin Willems wins, I'm going to be very surprised. But, I mean, this is short track racing. Anything can happen. Eddie Morris is going to be a threat. Devin Butchino is a threat. Jeffrey Belk is a threat. Brett Merle is. Dave Wright is. The whole field is always a threat. But Brian Newty, Colin Willems, they're definitely the favorites here. They've got the best odds right now at this stage of the race. Looks like Dustin Dean has manually disconnected here at Richmond. Dustin was the driver that brought out our only non-competition caution of the race after getting loose heading into turn number 1, and that kind of put him behind. And since then, I mean, we just saw manually disconnect there, so that's unfortunate. Tough day for Dustin Dean. I mean, he's had a phenomenal season so far. He will be able to continue his top 10 streak because there's only 10 drivers on track right now. So he will still be able to maintain that top 10 streak, but he'll definitely lose a couple positions in the point standings, I think. And that's also unfortunate because Dustin Dean needs all the points he can get, considering he is not locked into our playoffs because he doesn't have a win. Jeffrey Belk, Devin Butchino, we've been watching this battle for a lot of tonight's event. Question is, will Jeff be able to get by Devin Butchino here? And also, we got another battle on track. Brett Merle, Dave Wright. Forgot to mention this last weekend. Sorry if it's a little bit late, but happy late birthday to Beth Hall, wife of Josh Hall. She celebrated a birthday last week, so hope you had a great day, Beth, and happy late birthday. Looks like we got Brett Merlin to the pits here at Richmond. Let's see what is going to be done to that 11 machine. And looks like tires. Brett Merle taking tires here at Richmond. We'll see if that decision to come in will pay off for that 11 machine. Coming early. So it looks like these drivers will have to make one more pit stop then. Speaking of Brett Merle, once again, I want to give a huge congratulations to Brian Merle Jr. and his wife on the new child. Again, his name is Brody Lee Merle. He was born last night at 11:09 p.m. And so that's why Brian Merle Jr. is not here tonight, because he had a baby. So congrats to, again, Brian Merle Jr. and his wife for the new baby. And hopefully we will be seeing Brody Merle on our ticker very, very soon. So now we've got the next generation, William Walter Witt VI and Brody Merle. The young generation, they're going to be ones to watch out for. Do want to say, make sure to go and check out our merchandise store, IntensityBroadcasting.com. IntensityBroadcasting.com features merchandise from your favorite broadcaster, your favorite drivers, your favorite leagues, and so much more. We've got a bunch of cool Intensity Broadcasting merchandise on there. We've got Atlee Weiss Racing merchandise. We've got a bunch of cool auto racing novelty items. I know I've been talking a lot about new babies recently. If you know an iRacer that is having a new baby, then definitely consider picking up the Proof Baby onesie. It says on the onesie, proof that daddy does more than play iRacing. And this onesie comes in two colors, black and dark gray heather, and sizes 3 to 6 meters, 6 to 12 meters, 12 to 18 meters, and 18 to 24 meters. So again, if you know somebody who is, if you know a dad, you know who's somebody becoming a dad and they're an iRacer, definitely consider picking that up for them and makes the perfect gift. We've also got our driver collections, our league collections, and our lifestyle collections, and now our team collections. Especially make sure to consider checking out the Dylan Spain Motorsports collection, which is our new collection on IntensityBroadcasting.com. Dylan Spain Motorsports, along with the DSM Fab Shop, offers setups, maintenance, fabrication, and rentals for Legend and Bandolero race cars. After many years of success as a driver, owner Dylan Spain now works tirelessly to help other drivers achieve their maximum results on the track. DSM can be reached by calling or texting 919-818-2819. And we've got all kinds of stuff for Dylan Spain Motorsports. We've got hats, polos, hoodies, t-shirts, and long sleeve t-shirts. So much to offer for our new section in our new team collection, Dylan Spain Motorsports. And if you are a race car driver in the North Carolina, Virginia area, definitely consider checking out Dylan. He does a phenomenal job with the setups and the maintenance and everything with the car, and he's also a great driver coach. He's helped me out a ton as a driver. I'm on Dylan Spain Motorsports, so, he's helped me out a ton, and, he's definitely been a great part of my success in real-life racing. So, shout out to Dylan for all that he's done for me, and also shout out to Connor Bushy. He is one of the people at Dylan Spain Motorsports, and he does a great job as well. Also, make sure to check out our SCSRA section in the league collections and pick up an SCSRA t-shirt. Comes in 5 different colors: black, navy, red, sport gray, and white, and sizes small to 5XL. Got so much to offer on IntensityBroadcasting.com. I mean, you could spend an entire day just looking through it, so definitely go check it out. Again, IntensityBroadcasting.com, merchandise from your favorite broadcaster, your favorite drivers, your favorite leagues, and so much more. I know Valentine's Day is coming up, and your special someone really wants something from IntensityBroadcasting.com. I can tell you that. So if you really want to impress your special someone, go pick up something from IntensityBroadcasting.com for them. We're not responsible for any ended marriages. So right now, 1 second or more separates the entire field. Man, it's been the Brian Nudie show all race long. Let's see what happens here. Next week, it is going to be a great race at none other than Atlanta. But not the old Atlanta, the new Atlanta. So we are going to be having some super speedway racing. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So those of you who don't know, Atlanta got a huge update where the banking was increased. It was repaved. So now you can go full throttle around the entire track. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these drivers take on Atlanta, the high banks of Atlanta. This is the first time that this league has ever raced at Atlanta. It's going to be the first time that the league has ever raced at the new Atlanta. So it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be the fastest at this new track. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Turn on your notifications bell. You're not going to miss that race next week. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch some white-knuckle super speedway racing? And also make sure to turn on your notifications for tomorrow's race with the Thunderstruck Super Series Legends Series. It is going to be a phenomenal race at a great track. We are going to be racing at the Charlotte Legends Oval and the Legends. So that is going to be some awesome short track racing that you don't want to miss. I've seen racing with the Legends at the Charlotte Legends Oval, and let me tell you, heading into turn 1 on a start or restart, that is a sight to be seen. So you're definitely not going to want to miss the craziness of Legends at the Charlotte Legends Oval. And then Sunday, we've got our H2O Well Drilling Street Stock Series. Some more short track racing action for you. And then next Tuesday, we have got, I call it Double Truck Tuesday. We've got in the early slot, Doghouse Racing League, and then in the later slot, the SCSRA Truck Series. The backstory behind the name of this race. I mean, first of all, we are in Richmond Raceway. So, Richmond is the capital city of Virginia. And it has some Richmond Raceway significance as well. So, the fall, or I guess it's now summer race, It was under the capital city name from 1959 all the way until 1980 before Wrangler began to sponsor the race. So that's the significance of the name of the race. Again, super excited to announce tonight's race because this is my home track. And as Brian Newty crosses the start-finish line, that'll make it 10 laps to go, 40 more turns that he needs to execute. And he will be in victory lane. Brian Newty has dominated this entire race after starting in second. He grabbed the lead on lap 1 and has not looked back. If Brian Newty wins tonight, this will be his third win of the season, which will be a league most. He won last week at Watkins Glen. And not sure, I believe he also won. Yeah, he won at Kansas as well. So Brian Newty trying to get the hat trick for wins here this season. He's also gotten 1 pole. This will be his 5th top 5, 6th top 10. And that'll mean that Brian Newty will have, if he finishes in the top 10, which he will, that'll mean that he will finish in the top 10 in every single race so far, which is extremely impressive. Brian Newty chasing his first ever SCSRA Xfinity Series championship this season. For the last 3 seasons, he's come up short. So Brian, he's trying to change that here tonight. Already, he is locked into the playoffs. But Brian, he's trying to make it interesting by continuing to win races, because the more races he wins, the more playoff spots that are going to be up for grabs. There we go. 5 laps to go for Brian Newty. Currently, see Josh Hall on YouTube, he says, technical gremlins kept me out of the race tonight. Yeah, I was wondering what happened. That's unfortunate there. Sorry that happened to you, Josh. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times technical issues, that's kind of the equivalent of having technical issues in the car in real life. So, always unfortunate there. Hopefully you can be back and better than ever next week at New Atlanta. Three laps to go for Brian Newty. Can he get it done? Or will something crazy happen? Oh, shoot. Josh says, Oculus never charged. So for those of you who don't know, you can use the Oculus virtual reality while you're on iRacing. And unfortunately, it looks like Josh's Oculus did not charge. So that's unfortunate. Those Oculuses can be a pain sometimes. That's why I'm sometimes thankful that I use just the normal monitor. But it looks super cool. I've seen it before, iRacing through the Oculus, and it looks a lot more realistic. Final lap here at Richmond. Brian Newty has had a phenomenal season, grabbing 2 wins, and he is about to grab his third as he heads through turns 3 and 4. Brian Newty will win the Capital City 110 here at Richmond Raceway. Brian Newty with the hat trick this season. And this is only our 7th race. What a fantastic run for Brian Nudi. Absolutely dominant. Not to be outdone, Colin Willems with that second place finish. Devin Butchno third. Eddie Morris fourth. And rounding out your top five, wow. Look at that. Dave Wright with his first top five of the season. Congratulations to Dave. Awesome run. We've got the top three parking it on the start-finish line. Screenshot that if you want. And now it's burnout time for Brian Nudi. Josh Hall says, congrats, Nudi. Absolutely. Incredible race there by Brian Nudi. Domination. That's the adjective to describe this race. And there's the Viking. Richmond Raceway has a Viking on one of its walls here on iRacing. Super weird. All right, let's now pull in your third place finisher. He was your SCSRA champion in the Xfinity Series in Season 3 and the Truck Series in Season 1, the New York native from Plattsburgh. Let's pull in Neon Racing's number 68, Devin Butchino. Devin, this is Atlee in the broadcast room. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Awesome. Well, great run tonight. I know started in the fourth place position and didn't quite have the run that you wanted after starting kind of in the top five, but still, I mean, podium is fantastic, but I know you couldn't quite get up there to where Nudi and Willems was. I mean, what do you think you could have done differently to be right up with them?
Yeah, I don't think we quite had the speed for them. Definitely learned a lot over these 150 laps. I mean, I think we finished sixth in the stage, and we just destroyed the right front. It's a really technical, short track. There's a line that you need to run here to be fast, especially in 1 and 2. And we just couldn't run it today. And after the caution, that last caution we had, we just tried driving the track different to really work the bottom, back up our entry, and we found a little something. Being able to leapfrog Eddie, who was I think 5 seconds ahead of us at the end of the stage. So figured out something. Didn't have anything for Colin and Nudi though, but definitely happy to come away with the podium here.
Now Richmond's super hard on the right front and right rear. What's this key to saving tires here?
You just need to try and whip it in on entry to get it to drive off the right rear rather than that right front, because 50 laps is a long time here. In that first stage, I'd say 25, 30 laps in, I knew the right front was gone, so I screwed something up. But you gotta have a lower steering ratio so you can have more wheel. Really try and whip it in on entry, and then throttling off or full throttle once the car's straight. But it's easier said than done. But definitely figured out something throughout this one.
Absolutely. To see you guys go for 150 laps here is super impressive. So before we let you go, Devin, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Junior. Had little Brody Lee after last night's truck race, so congrats to them. That's awesome. Thank you, Atman, for everything you do. We really appreciate you doing this. Everyone at Intensity, you guys are phenomenal. Just want to shout out Nudie. It was a good win. He took us behind the woodshed today. Dev Sports Cards, Level Up Subs, McKinleyville Barbershop, and New Craft Fine Jewelry and Design, as well as Morris Customs. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Looking good. Congrats on the podium, Devin, and have a great rest of your night.
You too, man. Thanks.
All right, let's now pull in your second place finisher. He was your Season 3 iOS Cup Series champion from Strathroy, Ontario, Canada. Let's pull in Colin Willems. Colin, this is Atlee in the broadcast room. You got a copy?
I got you, Atlee.
Awesome. Well, great run tonight. I know it wasn't the result that you wanted, but still, after starting in third, you ran pretty much bridesmaid to Nudi for a lot of the race, but you just couldn't quite get by him. I know you ran close to him for a lot of the race, so I know it's frustrating, but I mean, what do you think you could have done differently to maybe change the result of this race, or is there nothing you could have done?
No, there is nothing I could have done. That's the best I was going to get out of tonight's run. That's, I think, the most consistent I've been at this track ever. So I'm extremely happy with the second, especially to Nudie. Feel really bad for Dustin though. He was really fast and looks like he got trapped a lap down or something like that when the caution came out, and then not quite sure what happened from there. But he was definitely quick and deserved a podium for sure.
Now, this track is extremely hard to drive. I know Devin was saying the car was just super. You got to kind of whip it in. It's just a really technical track. I mean, how were you able to adapt the difficulty of this track?
I just did my best to follow in the tracks of Nudie and Dustin, which wasn't very easy. They're very good here. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure what the line is. Or the breaking points, lip points that these guys are using to maintain that line for that length of run. But really impressive. Hats off to Nudie. He deserved it.
Now, before we let you go, Colin, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to thank Chappie for showing up and doubling our car count for wasted wages versus last night. Got to thank my wife for always supporting. Thank the admins. I was just talking to them. I have a lot of faith in them and achieving what we're setting out to do here. So hopefully everyone sticks with it and hope for a good next season.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up tonight, Colin. Have a great rest of your night.
All right, thanks, Ali.
And now let's pull in your winner. He was your SCSRA Truck Series champion in Season 2 from Santa Rosa, California, Brian Nudie. Brian, this is Atlee in the broadcast room. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Awesome. We'll win number 3 here tonight at Richmond, and you did it in dominating fashion. I mean, you were the class of the field all race long. So, I mean, just kind of walk us through how you got it done at such a difficult track.
I really love this track. This is one of my favorite tracks. Huge Tony Stewart fan. This is where he got his first 4 wins his rookie year. So this is one of my favorite tracks. It's also the only oval I've ever seen in person in real life, a NASCAR race. I got a little bit of a special spot in my heart at this track, and I really love it. And I like going fast here.
Well, you certainly did that tonight. So this is win number 3, another step closer to the championship. I know I was talking to Colin, and this is just an extremely technical track. I mean, what was kind of your key to being fast here tonight?
You got to up the steering offset a little bit, just so you don't have to turn the wheel so much in the middle of the corner. And then also, just as the run goes on, just slowly back off on the brake bias and make sure you reset it every time you put new tires on. That way, just try to keep it loose on entry and loose in the center. And then just make sure you didn't burn up the tires coming off the corner. Don't mat it and flat foot it. You can do that though, early on, but you just wear your tires out, and then it's just going to hurt you later on, and then you're just going to be struggling for forward grip and forward drive the rest of the race.
Now, before we let you go, Brian, is there any sponsors or shout-outs?
Oh, yeah, I got to give a shout-out to Junior and Baby Junior out there. I just had a baby. Congrats to him. Also, give a shout-out to all my teammates. Awesome job tonight. Also give a shout out to Morris Customs doing my paint job. Also sponsoring the truck series. Give a shout out to Dev Sports Cards sponsoring this series. Give a shout out to all the admins. You up in the booth do an awesome job. Also my beautiful wife for letting me do this. And as always, I got to thank Gill's Dump Truck Service and Pizzeria, the fastest dump trucks in the Northwest.
Of course, always gotta thank Gills.
Yeah.
Definitely miss Isaiah Gill.
Yeah, we'll try to get him back here one of these days. He said he was going to run the Richmond race. He said he had something for me, but I'm sure all he had was probably just spinning off of a restart. So
yeah,
he didn't have nothing.
Yeah, always gotta expect Gill in it when he's in the field. But
yeah,
again, congrats on the win tonight, Brian, and good luck for this rest of the season as you chase that championship. And have a great rest of your night, man.
Yep, thanks, bud.
All right, well that will do it for tonight's event. One more time, congratulations to Brian Nudie on grabbing his 3rd win of the season. I want to give a huge shout out to the admin team: Brian Nudie, Eddie Morris, Sylvain Seagoin, David Hartney, Devin Butchino, Michael Provolt, and Stephen Black. Without them, this league would not run as smoothly as it does. I want to give a big thank you to series sponsor Devin Butchno for all of their support of this league and intensity. And I also want to thank the Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. Definitely consider checking out both Dev, Sports Cards, and the Butt Kicker for their respective services. And I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to watch tonight. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as that would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach our goals of 2,500 followers on Facebook, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 1,000 followers on Twitch. Make sure to check out our Twitter, Intensity Broad 1. We're always dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there, so that's the best place to go if you want to talk to us about what's going on in the world of NASCAR and iRacing. And also, make sure to check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Intensity Broadcasting, iRacing, and racing. We've got Intensity Broadcasting merchandise, at Luis Racing merchandise, a bunch of cool auto racing novelty t-shirts. Especially make sure to check out in that auto racing novelty section our Proof Baby onesie. Perfect for if you know a new dad who's also an iRacer. We also have our driver collections, our league collections, our lifestyle collections, and our team collections. Check out our new section in the team collections, the Dylan Spain Motorsports collection. It's got some awesome merchandise on there, and you're supporting a local race team. And then also check out the league collections and that SCSRA collection and pick up an SCSRA t-shirt. Comes in 5 different colors and sizes small to 5XL. I'm Matt Liatman Unleashed on behalf of the entire Intensity Broadcasting team. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Over